everyone, it's Kirk here again at Option Alpha. So in this video, we're going to be talking automated options trading and how to build bots with no code. So this is still a big thing. People still believe that you need to use some sort of coding language or program your own bot, but you don't have to do it. I'm going to show you how to do it in this video. So first thing we got to talk about though is if you're watching this video, it's probably because you already know and you recognize. Congrats, you've got enough self-awareness to know that you are the bottleneck in your own trading. And this is the problem with manually trading in general, which is that we as traders are our own bottleneck. In fact, if you're watching this video right now, you can't simultaneously be watching the markets. You can't watch the markets every day, all day, every second of the day, all the different tickers that you might trade, all the different symbols, and every expiration in every position. It's just too much to manage. And this is where you need some sort of automated technology to come in to help out to not only find and enter and manage positions, but to remove that friction from you becoming the bottleneck. Now, a lot of people will say, well, Kirk, now that I can mobile trade, I can trade on the go. So I don't need to be sitting in front of a computer like you've shown here. Certainly don't need all these different monitors. I can trade on the go and I could, kind of manage things on the go. And that's fine, but now I've always said that you're a mobile bottleneck. So you're still the bottleneck if you are the person that is needed for every execution, for every trade, for every entry, every exit. You can miss opportunities really quickly. You can't just physically manage all of the different data streams and complexities and positions in your limited time. We're just limited as humans. We just can't do this. So this is where automated trading comes in. So I say there's 3 ways to build bots for trading. And so I originally had this just truthfully as like a red, yellow, and green, but it's not really red, yellow, and green because yellow would be like kind of caution. It's more like red, which is no go, and then you've got green, which is go, and then super green, which is the easiest way to do it. So the way that I think about building bots is 3 ways. You can do coding. Coding is an option for people to code. You can't code on Option Alpha. We don't even allow you to do it because we don't believe in it for building out bots. But coding is an option, and a lot of people think that you have to do it this way. They think just mentally right now that that's the only way to do it is to do coding. But I put this as a red light because to me, if I were to kind of draw out the path of coding, like coding looks like this. If we were to draw out a path, you first have to know how to code. So for me, that would be like a long journey and path backwards and around and circled. And like, I don't even know how to code or what to do, let alone to code an automated trading platform. I wouldn't know what to do. So if you got through that part of the journey, the path that you're on, now you have to have some sort of environment to actually hold the data and accept the data streams. And that's really hard. And then you've got to build out all of your indicators and your technicals and maybe your analytics. And then also you got to build out all of your different profit taking and stop loss metrics and expiration protocols and all the different things. And oh yeah, we got to integrate all these technical indicators and stuff like that. We end up going back for a little bit of time. And I don't know if you ever get there, or if you do, it's just a really hard path to get down. And so this is where I feel like many traders are generally, especially if you're watching this video, you're probably interested in how do I do it without doing this? Well, there's a way you can do it. You can obviously do it inside of Option Alpha. So the 2 other ways that you can do it inside of Option Alpha are the following. So the first way that you can do it is you can do it in a no code fashion. And when we say no code, that means you're not coding, but you're just going to be piecing together the decisions and the outcomes that you want. This is something if you want to build something a little bit more custom, a little bit more advanced, you already have a super technical strategy that you want to run. And this path looks a little bit like this. Like it's not going to be perfectly easy. You're going to have to do a little bit of learning. You're going to have to interact with the Option Alpha platform and our automation technology, but we try to make it as easy as possible, but you're going to have to start to piece things together and understand how it works. I'm going to build out an example at the end of this video so you see how it works, but you are going to have to get over a little bit of that learning curve. And definitely there's a little bit of a learning curve. It's okay. Lots and lots of people have gotten over it. The other way that you can build out a bot is you can build it out what we call wizard style. And we only call it wizard because that was originally the name that we gave to this functionality, which was the ability to take either a set of criteria that you're using inside of trade ideas or a backtest and automatically spin up a bot out of that. So our guys did a really good job creating the technology that takes all the criteria that you're already looking at and then just creates a bot for you based on that criteria. So Wizard is clearly the fastest path to do it. Now, It does mean that it's a little bit limited because it's limited to the things that you can actually test and look at and use filters on, but it's a very quick path to getting a bot spun up. And in many cases, you can use a lot of backtesting data to see what you're already doing before you spin up the bot. So I want to show you how all of these work, except for the coding one, because I'm not going to show you how that works, but I'm going to show you how the other two work in this video so you can understand how you can quickly spin up some bots with no code. So the first way that we can do it here is inside Trade Ideas. Trade Ideas essentially goes through the market every single minute, looking at new trade ideas, and it's just basically a huge database of pre-filtered, pre-calculated trades that you can then reference and take trade ideas on. You can again go through all of these different things up at the top, which are all different filters to kind of shop for the best trade that kind of fits your criteria. So I have some presets that I use. So if I use some presets like this, where I would say, okay, I want credit opportunities, I want ETFs only, 20 to 45 days out, with a return to risk of a reward to risk ratio of 100% or higher, probability of max profit 50% or higher, and positive expected value trades only. Okay, great. Now I've got a pre-screened list of trade ideas that I might want to execute. And I can execute these right here inside of Trade Ideas, or I can use this button right at the top, which is this button to auto trade. And that's basically the wizard path, because you're going to use the bot wizard technology that basically takes all of this information and puts it into a tradable bot that you can start to use. So if I go up here to auto trade and I click that button, then it's going to tell me to select which one of the ETFs do I want to start with this bot. I can select one ETF and put one ETF in a bot and create another one for another one, or I can do multiple ETFs inside the same bot. So I'll do that. I'll say all of these different ETFs. Let's go down here and get SPX, and we'll do TLT and XHB. I'll just throw some in there, and then I'll say next. And what that's going to do is it's going to give me my bot screen here to just confirm and adjust anything I need before the bot's created. So I'm going to say Kirk's new trade ideas bot. I can connect it to a paper trading account, or I can connect it to a live account. So I can say, hey, all of these trades are going to be executed in my live TradeStation account. I give it some capital to start with. Maybe I give it a little bit more money. And then you see here in the trade details, it's basically taking everything that we have here, all of this filter criteria, and it's putting it into a bot. It's basically just pre-filling all this information. So again, you can confirm it, you can make adjustments to it, and then just automatically create your bot. You have your position size, you have your price, you can set some exit options here. You can say, look, if I get 50% profits, let's take those, or get rid of positions an hour before expiration. So we'll save those. And then I've got all my criteria here. And these are all, again, the same criteria that's pre-filled or the criteria that you have had in here. So for example, expected value of each trade is $5 or more, great. Risk reward ratio greater than 100%, probability of max profit greater than 50%, all things that I already filled in. And so now those are pre-filled in here. You can add to it, adjust it, whatever you want to do, and then you simply create the bot. Now, when the bot is done, it's pre-filled for you. So if I go over to this Kirk's new trade idea bot, you can see that the scanner automation, the entire thing has been built with all of this information in here for you. So it's just pre-filled for you. You can then start with this, you can add to it, you can adjust it. It's again, your bot, 100% ready to go for you, ready to trade. So that's the fastest way to do it. So again, that's the wizard path. That's this one here, is to do the bot wizard from Trade Ideas. Now you can also do the bot wizard from backtesting. This is a cool way to do it. One of my favorite ways to find new ideas and then create bots is to use backtesting. So if I backtest an idea, like I backtested this idea before, I actually do have a live bot based on this backtest already running, but I'm just going to create one for you so you can see how it works. If I have a backtest that I've already run, where I've already tested everything, I've already tested the entry criteria and how I want to exit and everything, I can go up here again to create a bot, and that's going to create a bot based on this backtesting criteria. So everything in the backtest is going to be transferred over to the automation so they can run exactly like the backtest. So I can say Kirk's new backtested bot. And again, I can connect it to a live account. Maybe I want to do Tasty Trade in this case, give it some capital to start with. I confirm when I want to scan for new positions. The backtest scanned once per day at 2:30. If I wanted to adjust that, I can say, you know what? I want to do this position Let's give it a little bit more time. So let's do 2:20 to 2:40 in the afternoon. So just in case it can't get filled on the first trade, let's give it a little bit bigger window. I confirm how I want my trade pricing. So again, it's using the exact same metrics as backtesting. And then I simply create the bot. And once the bot is created, again, I go over to the bot. This one's going to have some different conditions because I backtested it with some different things than the trade ideas. But you can see all of those criteria and all of those decisions are put in here exactly like the backtest. I can go in here and I can make changes to any of these. I can edit any of these. This is all my stuff for my specific bot using all of this criteria that I told the bot to use. So it's all in here for me. I don't have to do anything with it. It's ready to go, okay? You can also, by the way, backtest multiple strategies and then put multiple types of automations into a backtest. So combine those together into one single bot. So here's another example. If you have a short put spread strategy and a short call spread strategy, and then notice here I combine the results so I can actually put in some information that says, hey, get into one of these positions per day as it's starting to go. You can't grab both positions. So whether in this case it was an opening range breakout, so if it breaks out higher, grab that one. If it breaks out lower, grab that one. And what do the results of that show? So basically like a more aggressive portfolio style backtest that you could run. So a little bit more data intensive. But what you could also do here is the same thing. So if you're comparing multiple types of backtests, at any point you can just click these three dots on the right side of a backtest. So you can click it here, or you can click it here. You can click it anywhere you want, and you can create a bot from that specific backtest set or that specific backtest. So I can say Kirk's new opening range breakout bot. I can connect it to a brokerage account like Tradier. And then I can say, okay, this is test A. This is how this automation is going to work. How do I want trade pricing to work? Here's test B. How does it work? What does it do? Here's how I want trade pricing to work. Maybe I want to adjust it here and say, okay, in this case, 100% of the bid-ask spread or up to 5 cents of slippage, right? So that's a good one to use. You can, again, adjust any of these you want and then simply create the bot. And the same thing happens. So now what it's doing here is it's not creating just one automation, it's creating two automations, one for each strategy that you backtested. So you have test A, which this one has its own set of conditions, and then you've got test B, this one's got its own set of conditions. All of these things have to be true. You can see this one is testing some opening range breakout recipes, so those all have to be true in order to execute a position. But now you've created a bot using a backtest. It's the easiest path that you can use because you've used that wizard to say, I like this strategy, I like this backtest that I've run, now create a bot from that. Okay, so now the last way that you can create a bot is the no-code way. Now this way is not as easy as the wizard because you're not just clicking a button to create a bot, but it is rather simple because all you're doing is you're just simply telling the bot what to do and when. And we use what are called recipes and decisions here inside of Option Alpha to get this done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my bot dashboard. We're going to create a brand new bot from scratch. We're just going to go up here to new bot, and then I'm going to start the bot with a blank canvas so it has nothing in it. So I'll call it Kirk's blank new bot. Again, you can connect it immediately to paper trading or to live trading, whatever you want to do. Create the bot. The bot settings have been created. It's basically at this point a shell of a bot. And rather than coding what you want it to do, you're simply going to add automations, and those automations will run and give the bot instructions. So that's the easiest way to think about a bot inside of Option Alpha is that it's something that is a computer essentially that's connected to a brokerage account. In this case, it's connected to my TradeStation account. Now, automatically, automations are turned off by default when you create a new bot, so you'd have to turn those on. We don't even have them yet, but once we do, we can turn them on. And then it's got some safeguards that we want to check. You can check these. You can check your scan speed. You can adjust these. We're going to adjust it every single minute. We're also going to connect the bot to a set of symbols. In this case, we don't know, the bot doesn't know what we want to trade, it doesn't know what symbols to look at. So we're going to have the bot actually go through our bot symbols and pull in a list of uncorrelated ETFs. This is already a watch list I have. You can create a new watch list, put in a custom list of symbols, type in symbols, however you want to do it, and you can just simply hit save. So now the bot knows, okay, I want to use these symbols when I'm performing actions inside of the automations. So the last thing that we have to do now is we have to simply tell the bot what to do. And we do this again through the use of an automation. You can add multiple automations to a bot, and you can run them on different schedules, which I'll show you. But let's just add a very simple scanner automation to our bot. So I'm going to add an automation. I'm going to go over here to new, create a new automation. I'm going to say Kirk's new scanner automation. And now all you want to do inside of an automation, again, is just tell the bot what to do through the use of actions. So right here, when the automation starts, you're going to tell it what things to do and when. And this is how you start to tell the bot to do certain things in certain environments or certain things in other environments or do nothing at all. So first thing that I'm going to do when I add a step is I'm going to go down here and I'm going to tell the bot to pull in all the information on its bot symbols. So basically loop through all of the bot symbols. That means run the same stuff that we're going to talk about here for every single symbol that we already have in our list. The next thing I'm going to do after it pulls in the information for the symbols is it's going to actually make some decisions. Now this is what most people use, is they use this action called a decision. The decision splits the automation into two paths. Either the answer to this question is yes, or the answer to this question is no. And you can see we've got lots of different folders for types of decisions. They're the easiest things that you can do inside of automations because they're very flexible and you can put them wherever you want. So in this case, a very simple decision would be something like the symbol's price is above 100. If the symbol's price is above 100, the answer would be yes, and the automation would continue down the yes path. If the answer to that question is no, then the automation would continue down the no path. And you can see there's lots and lots of decisions that you can use inside of your automation. So you can use decisions like, is the symbol price above or below the 30 or 60 or 50 or 90 or 100 or 200-day moving average? Is IV rank above or below a certain level? Does the symbol report earnings or in more than, less than a certain number of days? So you can see some of these fields here are variables that you can switch and change. Others are ones that you could just input a number, like the probability of being above a certain price is 3 or 5 or 10%. You can put those in. These are all decisions that you can just add and group inside of your automation. So let's go down here to some indicator ones. So let's do this. Let's do the symbol's technical indicator. Let's say that the RSI for any symbol is currently a buy. So I can just say the general 14-day RSI is right now a buy. I'm going to hit save. That's going to tell me that this decision has one decision in here, which is going to check to see if the symbol's RSI is currently a buy reading. And then once I hit save, you'll notice that this one decision is now split into two paths, which is if the answer to this question is yes, do this. If the answer to the question is no, do something else. And here's where you can get pretty creative with your automation building. You can start to add different types of decisions in here where you can say, okay, is the symbols, whatever stock I'm looking at, is it currently a buy signal? Yes. Okay, do something in this path. No, it's not a buy signal. Well, is it a sell signal? Yes, it's a sell signal. Okay, do something else in this path. And this is where it gets really fun, where you can have a lot of branches and different things that you can do. You can also add groups within these automations decisions as well. You can say the symbol's technical indicator is currently a buy and the VIX is currently below, let's say 30, right? So we don't want to trade with a super, super high VIX. So both of these have to be true. This would be a group decision. You can say and or statements. You can do groups within groups. Very easy to do. Once you save these, then you can see it just adjusts right here inside the automation editor. So let's say that if that is an RSI buy signal, we want to open a new trade idea. We want to find a short put spread that's bullish in that symbol. We don't really care about the expiration. We don't care what strikes, but we want to make sure that whatever position we get into, we take profits at say 40%. And we get out of the position at least an hour before expiration. And then down here, we can even give it some entry criteria, like the bot has enough capital, the bot has opened less than one position with this symbol, so basically doesn't have any positions with it. And we can also give it a bunch of criteria in here that meets or that we need to find. So we want to make sure the EV per contract is $5. The risk to reward ratio, let's say, is greater than 80%. And the probability of profit is, let's say, greater than 60%, right? So that would be like the criteria that you put in here, and you tell the bot, look, find me a trade It doesn't, I don't care necessarily about the expiration. Maybe your max expiration, you say, hey, look, it's got to be 45 days or shorter, right? So find me a trade that's 45 days or shorter. I don't care what the exact strikes are because you can tell it in a different action what exact strikes to use, but it's got to meet these criteria. It's got to have expected value of 5. It's got to be this. It's got to be this. If you find more than one idea, then rank everything by alpha, right? And then you would simply hit save. Now down that yes path, you're telling the bot, if any symbols that I'm currently looking at have this criteria, then try to enter this type of trade. And that type of trade already has some exit options attached to it. It's already pre-managing this position with exit options. So if it does get into a trade, then it's going to automatically manage that position at 40% of profit or 1 hour before expiration. So it's taking care of both. And you can do the exact same thing down the yes path. So here I can say, open a new position, find me a short call spread. In this case, a short call spread, I don't want to enter that's further than 25 days. I want to set exit options are a little bit different. Maybe I want to go 70% and take the position off, say 45 minutes before expiration. Then the criteria here for my call option might be a little bit different. I might say, for the call options, EV's got to be greater than 10, risk reward has to be greater than 60, probability of profit has to be greater than 70. Whatever criteria you want to set, you put it in there, and now it's going to only open those positions if this is the exact criteria that you find in the market for that particular symbol. So you notice you can kind of put these blocks together in different paths and different organization structures so that they can do different things. They could trade one strategy, they could trade multiple types of strategy depending on the market environment. This is why I said this path is not as easy as the wizard, right? The wizard is just create the bot from the things you already have tested or back tested inside of Option Alpha. But this one does give you a little bit more flexibility to kind of craft your own strategy, which I think is valuable for traders who want a little bit more of a technical strategy or have a more advanced strategy that they want to trade. Once you're good to go inside the automation editor, you just simply hit save. Now you have your new automation that you're going to be running, but now you just have to tell the bot what's scheduled to run the automation on. This is where you can choose multiple ways to run the automation. Typically, you would run an automation that is finding new positions as a scanner automation. This is because this automation that I built is meant to find a market environment that meets our criteria, RSI levels in this example, and then enter a position. You can run automations that are strictly for monitoring positions. Maybe you're checking expiration or different profit targets or different reversals in a technical indicator. You can run different monitor automations that do that also, and you'd run those as monitors. If you wanted to, you could run automations on a specific date, on a repeating schedule. Scanners will run continuously at that interval that you set, so in this case, 1 minute. But if you wanted to run a repeating schedule, like only run this automation every Wednesday at 2 o'clock or every Wednesday and Friday at 2:30, you could do that also. You could also run the automation one time at the market open, at the market close, only if a position is closed or open, and you can call a webhook from an outside source to run on automation inside of Option Alpha. In this case, I'm going to run the automation as a scanner. I'm going to run it all days and all market times. Again, if you wanted to limit it by some way, you could limit it in here, and then I simply hit save. And now this new automation has been added to my bot. And once I'm good to go, I simply can turn on the automations, and this will start running those automations for me. So now I've built a bot. I didn't have to code anything in any Java language or Python or any trading language. All I simply needed to do was just simply add these decisions and these actions to my bot. And notice there's a lot of different actions you can do. You can do conditional actions, you can open and close positions, update your exit options, send yourself a notification, use tagging within the bots and positions to do really complex and unique things. So there's a lot of flexibility in here for your automations to do whatever you want using this framework. All right, so I hope this was a really good primer and first step into showing you how you can start building bots and trading without code. If you need anything else, please let me know in the comments. If you like this video, let me know. Also give it a thumbs up, share it with other people who are out there. Help spread the word about what we're trying to do here at Option Alpha. We've got some great resources and links right below here if you're interested in getting started, including our fast track, which is the easiest path to getting up to speed with how to use Option Alpha and how to start using automated trading and trade ideas and backtesting in your trading. So check that out right below here. And until next time, happy trading.